Psychics get arrested for deceiving gullible clients all the time. In Fort Lauderdale, a family of 9 fortune tellers were just arrested for scamming desperate people out of more than $40 million.
Is every psychic out there a fraud?
I don't like to call them all frauds. There are those that truly believe that what they're doing is genuine. Maybe they're self-deceived.
Banachek says when psychics like James Von Prague purport to see spirits from beyond the grave,
I need to let you know he loves you very, very much.
he thinks they've crossed the line.
Do I care if cynics believe it? I could care less.
I think those people are scum. I really, really think they're scum because grieving is a part of death. And when you're going to convince them that you can actually talk to their dead relative because you want to, quote, make them feel better, I can give crack to a junkie. That make him feel better doesn't mean that it's good for them.
But just mention the TV show Psychic Kids, and Banachek will tell you it borders on child abuse.
I think that's a horrific show. I think you're taking advantage of children.
The show purports to help kids troubled by their ability to see spirits.
In the middle of the night, ghosts try to talk to me.
Every single episode, there's a possession, or there's a demon in the house, or there's a ghost doing something.
Freddy usually taps on windows.
Show me the proof. It doesn't stand up.
The producers of Psychic Kids did not return our requests for comment.
These dead people speak to me.
But Lisa Miller, a psychology professor at Columbia University and a former consultant to the show, believes these children are having valid psychic experiences.
Once somebody pushed me off the bed. It was Freddy's mom.
The children that I saw were afraid to sleep in their own beds and convinced that these spirits were going to do harm to them.
Every single one of us has a natural capacity to connect beyond the material world. And if that's supported by our parents and encouraged, then it's not frightening.
Well, if your parents are encouraging ghost stories, basically, that can be scary too, can't it?
I'm not familiar with parents encouraging ghost stories.
Were any of those kids traumatized?
The children I met through Psychic Kids were beautiful people, and they overall had very high IQ.
But do you ever think that it's being used fraudulently or disingenuously?
I think that any human faculty can be used for a broad range of purposes, and things can be used positively.
But surely you don't believe that everybody out there...
I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm finding it hard to relate to this discussion. Are we about done?
We were done, but the epic debate between those who believe in science versus the supernatural continues to rage.
Who will win? Rationality or superstition?
Superstition is part of life. It's part of our culture. Our superstition is always going to be there.
Next, ever think your mom is psychic? Well, these mothers do it for a living.
When your friends ask about your mom, what do you tell them?
She talks to dead people.
And so there are doubters, the crusaders, and those who flat out will never believe. But what accounts for the fact that nearly half of all Americans polled recently said they do believe in some sort of ESP? The truth is, psychics, whatever their means, strike in us a primal chord. They talk to our deepest desires and closest relationships. Well, there's no closer bond than between mother and child. Here once again, ABC's David Wright.
I haven't read this in a long time.
They loom large in life and stay with us long after they're dead. Mothers? No. Mothers connect.
Hug.
And what if mom
Like I can look at you and I can feel her energy.
is psychic?
It's a little tough, I guess. That's fine, Aurora. You can have your opinion. I'm just saying, I feel real comfortable with knowing what's going on in your head.
We spent time with 2 mothers who are professional psychics. 2 very different women who lead surprisingly similar lives. Both best-selling authors.
What I do is really not witchy or strange. It's just connecting with an energy that remains, you know, and plugging into it.
Both so much in demand they communicate with the dead in front of huge crowds. Alison Dubois inspired the TV show Medium.
I thought I was seeing some kind of fantasy in his head.
Although lately she's better known as the mean psychic from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
If my husband ever leaves me, I'm going with him.
He will never emotionally fulfill you. As soon as the kids are bigger, you'll have nothing in common.
Were you unhappy with the way that presented you?
I wasn't happy with it.
You must have known that that's how it would end up.
I did. You know,
You don't have to be a psychic to figure that out.
Money and manners are two different things. We all found out.
Rebecca Rosen has a waiting list 3 years long.
Clinton committed suicide. He made poor choices which led to his death.
People willing to pay $500 an hour to consult her.
Anybody famous?
Many.
Any you can talk about?
To be honest, I really don't like to do that. You know, I mean, no disrespect, but on the other side, there are no red carpets.
No red carpets, but apparently lots of mothers.
Your mother is up there basically beaming with pride.
In all the readings we observed, mothers figured prominently.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
She says it's almost like this is a gift for you.
Whether that's psychic or just psychology, who can say? How much do the kids themselves understand? A lot more than you'd think. Rebecca's son, Jacob, is 8 years old.
Most moms don't talk to dead people.
Do you find that scary?
I found that interesting.
When your friends ask about your mom, what do you tell them?
Well, I tell them that she talks to dead people, and so she has people come into her office, and then she talks to their angels. They don't believe me at all. They say, that is really weird.
What did you make of what he had to say?
I was amazed at how much, not just Jacob, but kids in general, sponge up by watching their parents and listening. And he really gets it.
Wow. Wait, that's a good one.
What's it really like to have a mom who can read your minds?
Allison Dubois' daughters are in their teens.
Do you have to watch what you say, watch what you think?
You know, I just think of something else to kind of throw my mom off, I guess.
Both women are pretty convinced their kids have psychic powers of their own.
I think when I was 5, I was talking to my grandpa Jim, and I was telling my dad what he was saying, and my dad got really freaked out.
I think that most children have it, and I think as we get older, we get a little jaded, and I think we carry issues with us as we get older.
As someone who's naturally and professionally inclined to be skeptical,
Okay, so say your name out loud.
David Wright.
I wasn't sure what to expect when the two women volunteered to give me a reading.
What can you see?
You know, basically I could feel who your mom was, and
I never told her my mother was dead.
But she is very matriarch type energy, and she's very strong. I want to call her Ann or Anna, and I'm supposed to talk about
Deanna's my mother.
Deanna, and she's passed away.
Yeah.
This is her.
At this point, I'm hooked.
So Deanna, so I'm hearing Anna. Deanna wants me to tell you how proud she is of you, and are you a father?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a daughter?
Mm-hmm.
There's a connection between that child and your mother. And so
Now I want to cry. I haven't yet told her I have 3 girls, the oldest named Deanna, for my mom.
And so she's trying to say to you, hand on her head means I know her. So did she never she never knew her in a physical form?
No.
But she definitely knows her on a soul level. And the reason I'm telling you this, if I see a thread between your child's heart and your mother's, it means they knew each other before your child came to be with you.
She died before I was married and before my little girls were born.
Yeah.
So I feel that hole in my life.
These are details that don't pop up on Google.
I'm supposed to talk about a 4-leaf clover, so I don't know if somebody's Irish or somebody loves 4-leaf clovers.
My wife is Irish.
Okay, she's acknowledging that. I'm supposed to bring up V as in Victor. Do we know who that is?
Victoria is my wife.
Is your wife?
From both psychics, on 2 different days, powerful images of my mother.
She likes red roses, plant her a rose bush, that sort of thing.
I literally see roses right now.
She stays a part of your life, and that's just something she needs you to accept.
And then this.
But she's telling you, picture me at my best. I literally see rainbows.
Rainbows. I thought nothing of it until hours later, at the end of our day, surprise, a double rainbow.
That's amazing. Look at that. Didn't I talk about a rainbow in your reading?
Yeah, you did.
Your mom's talking about a rainbow. Yeah.
Moms and psychics.
That's right.
Somewhere over the rainbow, I'd like to believe my mom is smiling.
That's our program for tonight. There's already a heated debate online about psychics. Tweet us what you think at Nightline or weigh in on our Facebook page.
Juju Chang takes us inside a family with a whopping 18 biological kids.
I am just 6 weeks, barely along.
And counting. How do they do it? Find out next week on Primetime Nightline, 9 Central.
I think you're the smartest kid we ever had.
I'm Cynthia McFadden. Thank you for watching Primetime Nightline. Stay with ABC to watch our regular Nightline broadcast right after your late